CBS Young and the Restless spoilers. Welcome back to our channel, fellow Y and R addicts. Today is just another wild day in Genoa City, and I am so glad we have this space to just let it all out. Grab your coffee or maybe something stronger, because we have a lot to unpack from the latest episodes, and I am literally buzzing with thoughts about this whole Victor and Phyllis situation. I am literally shaking right now. I cannot even process what I just watched, but I need to get this out immediately before I explode. I mean, are we seriously doing this again? Are we actually watching Victor Newman pull the exact same ruthless, God complex garbage he has been pulling for the last 40 years, but this time with a modern tech twist? Yes, we are. And I am so torn between throwing my remote at the television and standing up to applaud the sheer audacity of this man. Because let's be real, the minute Victor said he was going to get Newman Enterprises back from Phyllis Summers, we all knew he wasn't going to just ask nicely. But AI-generated evidence, forging illegal business activities to frame her and threaten her with federal prison time, I cannot believe they went there. Wait, actually, I can. It is Victor. But still, seeing it play out on screen is just wild. So let me just back up for a second, because my brain is going a million miles an hour. We all saw the mass exodus at Summers conglomerate, right? Every single department head, every senior executive just up and quitting because Victor bought them all out. The mustache literally opened his bottomless wallet and bought Phyllis's entire staff out from under her. I was watching Lauren Finmore Baldwin standing there in Phyllis's office, looking at her phone as the emails just kept rolling in, and I felt absolutely sick to my stomach for Phyllis. And then Victor drops the absolute hammer. He has this new artificial intelligence program churning out fake documents that make it look like Phyllis, Billy Abbott, and Kane Ashby illegally hijacked Newman. He is literally blackmailing her with prison. Do you know how insane that is? I know some people are loving this Victor the Mastermind era, but personally, I am kind of terrified of what the writers are letting him get away with. But here is the thing about Phyllis Summers. You do not back a cornered tiger into a cage and expect her to just roll over and purr. I have been watching this show since the 90s, okay? I have seen Phyllis survive, being run over, being thrown downstairs, being framed, faking her own death, you name it. She is a survivor. So when Victor smugly sits there at the ranch and tells Michael Baldwin that his plan is foolproof, I just had to laugh out loud. Because Victor always underestimates the women in this town. He always thinks his money and his threats are the ultimate trump card. And sure, Phyllis looked absolutely devastated when she was screaming at her phone, yelling about how much she hates Victor. But that wasn't defeat. That was the battle cry. That was the moment Phyllis decided she is going to burn everything to the ground before she hands the keys to Newman Enterprises back to Victor on a silver platter. Wait, I am getting ahead of myself. I need to talk about Michael Baldwin for a second. Can we talk about this? How incredibly foul is it for Victor to put Michael in this position? Michael is literally Victor's oldest, most loyal ally. And Victor just casually tells him to warn his wife, Lauren, to jump ship because he is taking Phyllis down. He is forcing Michael to choose between the Dark Lord of Genoa City and his own wife's best friend and boss. I mean, Michael looked like he was going to have a heart attack right there in the living room. He literally asked Victor, what happens if he loses control of the AI? Yes, Michael, thank you. Finally, someone points out that playing with artificial intelligence to frame people for federal crimes might just blow up in Victor's face. I swear, if Michael and Lauren's marriage takes a hit because of Victor's petty vendetta, I am going to riot in the streets. Okay, back to the main point. So, what is Phyllis going to do? She is out of staff. She is facing fake but highly convincing criminal charges, and she has Victor breathing down her neck. I was strolling through the forums late last night, reading what everyone else thinks, and I stumbled on this one theory that literally made me gasp out loud. What if Phyllis doesn't give the company to Victor? What if she sells Newman Enterprises to Jack Abbott and Nikki Newman? I am screaming just typing this. Just think about it. It is the most brilliantly chaotic, perfectly soapy, absolute masterstroke of revenge I have ever heard in my entire life. Let's break this down, because the more I think about it, the more it makes perfect, twisted sense. First of all, Jack Abbott, my poor, messy, perpetually heartbroken Jack. He is already on a warpath. The man has been put through the absolute ringer lately. Between Patty Williams coming back to town, drugging him, holding him on a boat, and completely destabilizing his life, Jack is a walking raw nerve. And now we have this whole narrative where Jack wants ultimate revenge on Victor. They have been fighting over companies, women, and pride for decades. Remember when Victor took over Jabot and put his face on the building? Remember the blood, sweat, and tears Jack shed over that? If Jack has the opportunity to buy Newman Enterprises, which is Victor's literal baby, his legacy, his entire identity, Jack would not hesitate. He would empty the Abbott bank accounts. He would sell his soul. He would do whatever it takes to strip Victor of his empire. And we already know Jack is plotting a new attack against Victor. The recent spoilers in the timeline literally say Jack is launching a brand new offensive against the mustache, and it has Nikki Newman's fingerprints all over it. Nikki Newman, Victor's own wife. This is where the theory goes from good to absolute legendary television, because Nikki is completely fed up. I don't blame her. Victor has been keeping secrets, making unilateral decisions, and treating everyone around him like pawns on a chessboard. Nikki is frustrated. She is estranged from his recent actions, and she is spending an awful lot of time whispering in corners with Jack Abbott. I mean, selling the company to Nikki, that would be the ultimate slap in the face. Victor can fight Jack all day long. He expects Jack to fight dirty. But Nikki, if Nikki becomes the co-owner of Newman Enterprises, Victor is completely paralyzed. He can't launch a hostile, illegal, AI-driven smear campaign against his own wife without destroying his family forever. Well, I mean, he could because it's Victor, but it would be incredibly risky even for him. Nikki, holding the keys to the kingdom, gives her the ultimate leverage. It forces Victor to actually listen to her for once, instead of just barking orders and expecting her to pour a drink and nod along. But wait, there is a massive complication here, and I am so here for the drama. Diane Jenkins Abbott, if Jack and Nikki team up to buy Newman, they are going to be spending a lot of time together. Late nights, secret meetings, hushed phone calls, and Diane is already furious with Jack. She just rejected his pathetic attempt to buy her forgiveness with that vintage Josephine Baker ring. He is standing her ground, which, honestly, good for her. But we already know Diane is going to catch Jack and Nikki in a highly compromising, awkward moment. Imagine Diane's face when she realizes her husband isn't just plotting with his ex-lover, but they are buying a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate together. Diane is going to lose her absolute mind. She might actually burn the Abbott mansion down, and I kind of want to see it. Can we just take a moment to visualize Victor's reaction if this happens? I need you to picture it. Victor is sitting in his leather chair at the ranch, swirling his drink, waiting for Phyllis to walk in and surrender. He thinks he has won. He always thinks he has won. And instead, Phyllis struts in, because Phyllis always struts, slaps a signed contract on his desk, and says she sold it to Jack and Nikki. The vein in his forehead would explode. He would throw the glass into the fireplace. He would yell at absolutely no one. It would be the greatest scene of the decade. Victor loves Newman Enterprises more than he loves his own children. Having it snatched away at the 11th hour by his bitterest rival and his own wife, that is Shakespearean-level tragedy, and I'm begging the writers to give this to us. And let's not forget Victoria Newman's role in all this mess. Victoria is currently running around town digging for dirt on Phyllis to help her father's revenge plot. She just finished blowing up Sally and Billy's relationship by exposing Sally's baby secret with Audra's help, and now she is pivoting her ruthless energy toward Phyllis. Victoria wants her CEO chair back. She feels entitled to it. But if Nikki and Jack buy the company, where does that leave Victoria? Does Nikki fire her own daughter? Does Jack force Victoria to report to him? The power dynamics would shift so violently that the entire Newman family would implode. Victoria would probably declare war on her own mother, which is a storyline I didn't know I needed until right this second. Also, we have to talk about Christine Blair Romanotti. The timeline says Christine is threatening Phyllis right now. Is it out of civic duty because of these fake AI documents Victor generated? Or is it just her personal vendetta against Phyllis? Because let's not pretend Christine doesn't love seeing Phyllis squirm. If Christine is breathing down Phyllis's neck with the district attorney's office, Phyllis has a ticking clock. She needs to offload Newman Enterprises fast before the federal indictments come down. Selling it to Jack and Nikki is the perfect escape hatch. It washes her hands of the asset Victor is targeting, nullifies his leverage, and secures her a massive payday to fight whatever legal battles Christine tries to throw at her. It is a win-win-win for Phyllis, Jack, and Nikki, and a massive, humiliating loss for Victor. I know some people are going to say that Victor will just find another way to steal it back. And yeah, probably. Remember when Jack took over Newman back in the day? Victor eventually got it back. Remember when Victor took over Chancellor? It never lasts forever. But that is the beauty of soap operas. It's not about the permanent victory. It's about the temporary, agonizing, glorious defeat of your enemies. We haven't seen Victor truly outsmarted and humiliated in a long time. He has been riding way too high, controlling Nick and Adam's lives in Vegas, destroying Summers' conglomerate, and acting like a literal dictator. He needs to be taken down a peg. And who better to do it than the holy trinity of people he has wronged, Phyllis, Jack, and Nikki. But then again, part of me is terrified for Phyllis. What if Jack and Nikki flake? What if Nikki gets cold feet because she realizes she can't actually betray Victor like that? Nikki has this habit of getting real brave and then folding the minute Victor gives her that disappointed look. If Nikki backs out, Jack can't buy it alone without triggering a massive corporate war he might not be able to afford right now, especially with all the family turmoil. And if the deal falls through, Phyllis is left holding the bag with Victor's AI evidence ready to send her to a cell. I am so stressed out for her. I mean, I love Phyllis. I hate Phyllis. I love to hate Phyllis, but I do not want to see her lose to a computer program Victor bought online.